weeks in one night, didn't you? 18?
Yeah, man.
Welcome to BNEWS Weekly Special Report. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with my guests today, two very special BCAT alumni. Katherine Ellis, welcome.
Thank you.
2017 BHS grad. And TJ Horgan,
You got it.
2015.
2015.
Graduate. Both alumni of BCAT. So let's start with you, Katherine, and tell us, when did you know you were interested in this type of business, in communications, etc.? As a youngster, when did you find out that you had interest?
I feel like I've known like my whole life. I just feel like there's part of me that's always loved performing and being on camera. I grew up and I did like competitive cheerleading, I did theater. So just performing in front of people has always been something that just like sparks a fire in me. So I've always known that I wanted to do something on camera or in front of people, in front of a live audience. I never knew exactly what it was, but I feel like my first opportunity to really try out something in this field was the end of my senior year at BHS. BHS offers a program where you can do an internship instead of going to classes the last quarter of school, and that's when I joined BCAT, was that opportunity. So I got to do that instead of classes, and I just loved every second of it. It's when I first learned how to use a camera. I got taught how to film with the cameras here. I got taught how to use editing softwares, all the Adobe packages, and I just loved everything about it. And just getting to do it on my own, I think, really helped, because I had to teach myself a lot, but then if I ever needed help with anything, BCAT was always there to give me teaching advice and everything that I needed. So I just loved it. And then I felt like once I started to learn editing behind the camera and filming, I started to learn about what was needed on camera and tried to teach myself that and do all of those things. So I think I miss being on camera, so then I just started to try to do things on my own where I could get on camera. And
now,
then
wasn't your biggest production here the BHS Hockey Retro? I think was your full production, right?
Yeah, I did.
Behind and front.
Yep,
on the
I
side.
did all the filming. I got to do interviews in the studio, and that was my first time ever doing an interview with somebody. And even though it was off camera, I learned so much, and I loved being able to create a story with my own questions and my own people that I picked. And I got to get all the hockey players here in for interviews, and it was so much fun. And I got to make their end of the year banquet video for the team. And it was so much fun to do, but then I think the best part was after. I got emails from parents, texts from parents, and even head coach Bob Conceição texted me, and he was like, I just want to let you know, in all my years of coaching here, that is the most amazing video we've ever seen. He said it brought tears to his eyes, and that was just like the best feeling for me, and I was like, this is it, I love this.
Well, the digital age for historical value too, for the kids, for all the sports teams here. So let's stop there, because then we'll go on to your collegiate experience, your intern experience, etc. Let's start with you. You were in a Video Voyager. Did you start that early in middle school?
I don't think I was ever officially in the Video Voyager club, but I was always in something or other on stage. Like Kat, it started with like the love for performance and love for acting and just being animated. And that was a lot of theater. And then I went into improv in high school, which was a blast. And then I realized we had this amazing resource in the back of the school, right in our own school. And I came in and talked to Jen, and the rest is history. I mean, BCAT can foster like pretty much any interest in any realm of television or film production. And it just absolutely blossomed.
Now, were you also engaged in the off-camera activity? Did you do as much as Katherine did as far as the editing and camera work, etc.?
She blew me out of the water. That video that she was telling us about, that's where you really hone your love for impacting a community, I guess, is when, I was with BCAT and doing the football away games, the basketball games, and the hockey games in the broadcasting aspect.
Right, you were the voice of the Devils there for a while.
It was fun to get animated, and with Phil Arcaro, Lord knows you have to be animated. Shout out to Phil. We had so much fun doing that, but it was when the kids and the coaches and the parents would come up to you and say, like, I'm so glad you're doing this. My family who, can't get to the game or whatever really loves to see that.
And now that we're live streaming too, and, putting everything on all the social media, etc., it's even more impactful. So now you graduate from high school and you're going down to Alabama. Tell us how that happened.
Oh, I don't even think I exactly know how it happened, but like I said, I did cheerleading for a while, so I thought I wanted to go cheer at a big football school. And something that I always think about now is that when I was in high school, I didn't really have my priorities straight. I really focused on like the extracurriculars and everything that a typical high school girl thinks about, and prom and this and the football game on Friday night. So
well, nothing has changed because 50 years ago I did the same thing, so, although I didn't cheer.
But I didn't put forth like my best effort in my academics, and because of that, I didn't go to a school with a lower acceptance rate. I had to go to one with a bigger acceptance rate because I couldn't get into those harder to get into schools, and a lot of the big southern schools are easier to get into, and I wanted to try a big football school, so I went there, and I just had a big reality check when I was there, actually. I think it was like the turning point of my life was my dad got diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer while I was there, and that was like a light switch for me. And I had to realize what I cared about and what I didn't really care about. And I realized that where I wasn't going to be able to be as successful as I know I want to be. And I just completely changed my work ethic. I finally put all of my work into school, and I made a promise with my dad. I was like, if you do your best to beat cancer, I'm gonna do my best to get into a school where I can be close to you. And for the first time in my life, I got a 4.0 GPA, and I made president's list all at freshman year. So then I knew after being there for a while, I wanted to try to get involved with the sports media industry, and especially for me, I've grown up in a hockey family. This was the place for me to do it. It wasn't in Alabama. There weren't a lot of outlets for me there, so I moved my life here. Thankful that I was able to realize that I needed to do well in school and get into a school that was in Boston that I could get into.
Now, this was after your freshman year?
Yes.
So you were able to get entered into BU after that?
Yes. I applied right at the end of my freshman year, and then I transferred to BU beginning of sophomore year.
Right.
And I got into BU, and my dad's cancer-free now.
Right.
So we did it together.
Okay, DJ, tell us your matriculation up to this point. After you're out of high school, you go on to Ithaca, and for both of you, was any of your BCAT portfolio useful to you in both your job quests or intern quests, and in your ultimately now that you're in the real world working? How did that work out?
I mean, I think BCAT's the reason why I got into Ithaca. I was applying for a scholarship that was based on media and community service, and all of my experience with BCAT, everything I did at BCAT was pretty much my portfolio, my case for the scholarship. I ended up getting the scholarship, going to Ithaca, knowing I wanted to be a sports broadcaster or a news broadcaster, something in the broadcasting industry. And my experience, the knowledge I gained at BCAT just was the best launching pad in the world for that.
So you took communications up at Ithaca?
Yeah, the major was broadcast journalism, pretty much.
And what were you doing up there as far as the internships were concerned? What outlets were you working at?
Right. I had an internship at WCVB here my summer after my sophomore year. Summer after my junior year at Ithaca, I did like a pseudo internship freelance gig at a really small market, Elmira, New York, WENY.
Elmira, I know it.
30 minutes south of Ithaca. And man, that experience was amazing too. And it was like, I was thinking about like all my time at BCAT, just the ability to use the cameras, go out and film. And then that was put to the test in Elmira, where I was just...
Jack of all trades?
They let me be so autonomous, with that. And hone my creativity with cameras and editing, as well as on air a little bit too. And that was pretty much my launching pad for where I am now in Hawaii.
Great. Well, we're going to get into that. Why you ever left Hawaii to come back to 20 degrees and 70 degrees, and it's crazy.
No.
So you come back to BU, and you get internships. And what was your BCAT portfolio of any use to you in that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that even there's the stuff that was on paper, on my resume, on my portfolio is the video that I did, but the experience that I had from it, that was way more than anything I could put on paper, and I think that really is what got me my job with the hockey team, was that they were able to see how much I was able to do independently and how quick I was able to learn from BCAT, and that I knew how to do all these things that people who didn't even know how to do there. They were very interested in what I had learned about media and producing and editing. And when I got to BU, their hockey team's social media didn't previously have the type of video editing that I had been doing. They didn't really have like any hype videos or any year-end summary videos at all.
No teasers, no trailers, no nothing.
Nothing. It was all just paper, print ads, pictures. We have a game tonight. And I'm like, this is one of the top hockey teams in the country. There's so much room for improvement on what can be done on their social media. And that's really what I brought to my interview for the job. And even though I managed the first year, I told them that I wanted to do everything I could in addition to managing to help out with the social media. And I really did. And the first video that I did was a recap video. The team went to Ireland for Thanksgiving. And I just did a summary of it, and it got reposted onto the account. And it was just such great exposure for me and for them, because they had never done anything like that. And automatically, they have around 15,000 followers. 15,000 people get to see this side of the hockey players that they don't get to see on the ice. They get to see them exploring a different country on Thanksgiving, and it was really cool.
So you're doing the whole ball of wax at this point. You're setting up your shots, you're positioning your players, you're writing scripts, etc., in the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. I had to do what I could that year in addition to what my job was. And I think they really appreciated that I was the manager and I had to do ticket sales, organize their meals, organize travel arrangements. And in addition to that, I was trying to help out their social media. And it wasn't a job requirement. It's nothing any of the managers had done before, but I wanted to do it because I knew I loved it and I knew that I could really help them. And they loved it. And I just did everything completely on my own. And now, just from when I started last year to now, there are 2 new video production jobs that exist for BU Athletics that didn't even exist in the past. And just you can go on their social media and see the transition from last year to this year.
So you're bringing value added. You're not only filling the role, but you're bringing value added to the organization.
Yeah, it's incredible that 2 full-time jobs were created, and I get to work with those people now, and I love them.
And you're still in school. You're a junior.
Yes.
Right. So you're kind of busy.
Yeah, definitely busy.
And how about that 4-0? Are you doing that up in the Northern Kingdoms?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm going to graduate, Dad. I'm going to graduate.
It's almost like riding a bike, like with the editing thing. Like BCAT will teach you how to ride the bike, how to edit, how to shoot, stuff like that. So when you get into positions like yours, and you just can learn how to be creative, right? You have to learn the basics. Right. You have to learn the basics before you can actually figure out how to be creative and monetize that and turn that into something big. And that's
editing is one thing, but editing content is altogether, and creating content is altogether a different thing.
It's such a learn as you go job. Somebody can stand there and tell you what to do, but until you're in control, it's completely different. And this year was the first year the hockey team even had a media day, and I completely organized the whole thing. I got all the shots, all the videos we wanted to do, all the pictures on ice, got spotlight crew to come in and shoot on the ice and shut the lights off. It was great, and I really think that I felt so comfortable doing that because I had to do the on-camera interviews with the hockey boys in BCAT, and that was completely my directing, my producing. BCAT asked me what I wanted to do, and I said this boy, these questions, and they're like, all right, we're hitting record.
The only difference between BCAT and the pros is that you got a pro hockey player instead of a high school hockey player, right? I mean, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Everything works the same way. So you come out of Elmira.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens after that gig?
The station in Elmira is actually owned by a small company called Lilly Broadcasting. And I was so fortunate enough to have been given that opportunity at Elmira that I asked them, are there any other opportunities available at your other stations? They have a few other stations, one of them being KITV in Honolulu. And I was like, there's an open position. I want to apply for it. And talked to the news director, Janice Jin, who is just an unbelievable news mind. She's been around the block. She's been in the business for 30 some odd years. And the rest is history. I mean, we're going to
talk about the rest of this.
Yeah.
This is an interview program.
Yeah.
we just don't blow the history off. So what are you doing down there? I know you want to do a stand-up. Of course, you've been doing that.
Yeah.
You've been doing stories. And tell us about the anchor desk.
Not at the anchor desk yet.
On the sports desk.
On the sports desk,
That's an anchor
I've
too.
been there, yeah.
You're almost, I'm the weekends anchor here. Pretty soon you'll be in a non-paid job.
My position, I'm a reporter, and then our sports director just left, Brandy Higa. She's been there crushing it at the sports desk. She just left, so I've been taking on a little bit more of an increased role when it comes to sports, which is sweet. I love sports. That's where I want to be down the line. So I've been doing that and the whole sports anchoring thing a little bit, and I've learned so much about timing, inflection, what to include in a show, what not to include in a show. You have 3 to 5 minutes max.
Right.
So the stuff you can include is very limited. So how do you engage people? It's basically like a numbers game. How do you engage people with a lot of content in a little time?
And you're writing your own content, I presume.
For sure, yeah.
Okay. Do you have a producer that works with you as well?
We're the producer in the sports.
You're
We're
it.
the producer, cameraman, writer, and then we
Edit,
go on air, editing,
etc.
all that.
And what do you have for a deadline?
Every day there are shows at 5, 6, and 10, and usually those are the shows I contribute to.
Right. And you're doing stand-up on regular island news as well.
Yeah, news is such a cool experience. Learning so much in news. It's such a fast-paced environment. I could be working on this great story, have these awesome interviews, and be ready to go edit it, and then at the drop of a dime get a call, hey, breaking news, you got to go here. And
Jump in the
change
truck
course like
and you
that.
shoot up the satellite thing, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that. I haven't actually had to drive that one yet. They have these little live boxes that are like this big and can attach to your camera, and you can go live from wherever.
Really?
And feed it back, yeah.
Really, that's the new stuff, huh?
Seriously.
So what's your favorite story down there? Have you done any volcano stories?
No, I haven't done any volcano stories. There's a lot of environmental stories. Everybody's really close to their environment, really close to the land, the animals, things like that. So environmental stories really are important down there, I would say.
So, tiger sharks, I presume, and surfing. I suppose
I haven't
you've done a
surfed
couple of-
yet.
You haven't surfed?
I know.
Shame on you.
I know, seriously. Haven't surfed yet. Soon, though. I'll get up the courage. I'll get up the courage to do it.
Oh, my God. So you're back here for a week on vacation?
Yeah, my first vacation since I started out there. Had to, see the family, grandparents, all that.
Sure,
Yeah.
but you couldn't pick like, the springtime or beautiful New England fall. You got to come in the middle of January.
I brought the weather with me, though.
Yeah, right.
70 degrees the
70
past couple
degrees,
days.
Yeah, and then snow this morning.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Only
Welcome
in New
to
England.
Boston.
Yeah, exactly. So now tell us about your internships. You had a number of them. Was 7 or 8, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think since I graduated from Burlington High School, I've had an internship until right now, and I still have one. So it's crazy. I've done one every summer, spring, fall, winter, a couple at a time sometimes. So even just this semester while I was full-time student, ringside reporting for Boston University, I also interned with Boston 25 Sports Department.
It's WFXT, is that what
Yes.
that? WFXT, these call
yeah.
letters, yeah.
And
Okay, but you did some before that. Tell us about those experiences as well.
So my very first one was with Bottom Line Technologies, which is a business company. And it's so funny that actually the same exact thing happened there that happened with Boston University Athletics. My dad was roommates with the CEO of the company. So they were just golfing. He's like, oh, what are your kids doing this summer? And I didn't have a job. My dad's like, oh, Katherine's just tanning by the pool. And he's like, bring her in. We'll give her a 3-week internship and see how she does. And I went in for 3 weeks and I made a culture video for them, which they had never had before. And I interviewed employees.
Was that for HR when you say culture
Yes.
of the firm?
Yes, exactly. And it was to put on their LinkedIn page to try to attract new people to the company.
Prospective employees, sure.
Exactly. And at the end of it, the CEO, who is my dad's friend, I had a meeting with him, and he's like, we can do these here? He's like, we have the people to do that here. We don't have to hire other people. And I'm like, yeah, I worked with the media team. I used their equipment. And he was like, wow. And they actually extended my internship 3 more weeks and then extended it for the rest of the summer.
Great.
So
great.
that was great. It was fun to try to get into a new environment that I hadn't been in before. And then after I got to do that, I realized that I love doing the filming and storytelling, but in a business firm wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. So,
But still the same skill set that you would do in stand-up or you
Exactly.
would do in managing. applies to all areas of business, not
Yes.
just in the entertainment field or in the ad field, but here in a case in HR, for instance.
Yeah, and I just learned so much about the professional world. And I always say, even though I did so many different things that I wouldn't do again, I'm so glad that I did them because it helped me learn what I did like, doing things that I didn't love. And I'm so grateful that I did them. Every little bit helps in one way or the other. That one, I can take all the professional experience I learned from it. And I was in a company that didn't even know that they could do those types of videos. And now, again, at the end of my internship, they job posted full-time director of videography at the company. So it's just so funny that even the most successful companies have no idea like the potential of content they can be producing.
Right. And now with the number of, what's Belichick call it, snapface and,
Snapface, yeah.
Snapchat. And I don't even know them. I know we do Facebook here. We do Snapchat.
We got to make you a TikTok, Phil.
TikTok, yeah. I don't think so. I think I'm beyond, that thing about teaching an old dog new tricks. It's true. Trust me. So now, what's up next for you? Okay, you're down there. You've been there for...
Been there for about 7 months.
7 months.
Since June.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm gaining more opportunities in sports, which is sweet. I'm learning more every day, making new connections, learning how to build a network down there more than I ever have in my life. Because a lot of the onus of, generating story ideas and keeping your ear to the streets, I guess, for lack of a better
for
term.
tips and you're extending your contacts within the municipal community, etc.
Right. Yeah. It's very. Yeah. I'm just learning so much.
Yeah. And what about next? What's next? You keeping your eye open for? You're going to be in Hawaii for a long time, or are we thinking L.A.? We thinking New York?
We'll see, man. We'll see.
thinking
I'm loving KITV in Hawaii. I am. They're,
Good. We'll send that clip. We'll send that clip down to them so they
send it to my GM. Yeah.
Seriously.
Get him a raise.
Yeah. Don't forget the things you say here, can be transported around the world. Okay, well, you're a junior now, so
Yes.
you've got this gig. You're making some money on it. You're producing all of this stuff. What's your step in your, I presume your major is communications, so what
Yes.
exactly is it? What's the
It
name
is.
of it?
It's mass communications, yes.
Okay. So what's the plan?
Day by day. Honestly, it's crazy to think where I am right now. I didn't know I was going to be here a year ago today. A year ago, I was managing the team, and I looked at the ringside reporter every single game, and I'm like, I would love to have her
Well,
job.
when you say managing the team, and that always means lugging equipment and things of that sort. But you're thinking, it was that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, there's a picture of me. It's hilarious. It's me in the garden, and I have like the grocery bags. I have one of the goalie bags, and I'm literally like, and it's like that sums up the whole job. It was crazy. You were the showrunner of the team. I had to organize all these meetings and their schedules, organize the food, ticket sales. Basically, it's like the jobs that nobody even
Nobody
thinks
else
twice.
wants to do.
No one else wants to do.
Yeah.
But it's also all the stuff that nobody thinks about. How does this get done? I'm like, oh, it was me. Yep,
Yeah,
I did all that. So that's like, it's not a paid job. It's an internship, but like the experience and the people I met and the networking from it is absolutely priceless. It's 110% worth it. And the only reason I didn't do it again was because I got the ringside reporting job. And I knew that that's what I really wanted to do. And like managing, I gave up my life last year. The girl who went to a fun party school in the South, I gave up my whole life just for my career for last year. I didn't go out anywhere on the weekends. I was in the rink at least 3 to 4 hours a day, every single practice. I traveled with them.
you traveled as well.
Every single game. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I missed Thanksgiving with my family to go to Ireland with the team.
Oh, what a sacrifice.
I know. But it really was a big sacrifice. But it got me the ringside reporting job because they were looking for somebody, and the person in charge of hiring was like, there's no one that knows this team as well as Kat does. She knows all these guys. She knows the ins and outs. She knows our story, our coaches, everything. And even now, the guys will say to me, like, we love that I'm best friends with all of them. And they're like, we love that you're our ringside reporter because they feel so comfortable talking to me. So it's so much fun. And so definitely hoping to continue it next year through my senior year. And we'll see where the future holds. I mean, who knows? I didn't know I was going to be here this year, so I don't know where I'm going to be next
So
year.
I presume you're maintaining completely your portfolio digitally so that you can show the world when you're ready to break out.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice that I got, I was interning for NBC Sports Boston, and the cameraman said to me, we didn't have what you guys have now. They didn't have the YouTube, Instagram, all this
Right.
stuff. He's like, use it to your advantage. Document everything you do. And that's really what I've tried to do throughout my internships, is take videos of it and start posting YouTube videos of it and Instagram clips of it. Just so not only I remember, but people see that and they're like, wow, she did all this. This was such hard work. And it's, you can say you did all this stuff, but people in the media world want to see it.
You want to see it, and now that you can buy a 5 terabyte hard drive, put all your stuff on there digitally, and you know the whole world can see it.
I have every single thing that I've shot since BCAT to
Right.
right now on a hard drive.
Right. Well, I'm starting to change mine to digital back from 1982, so we'll see how that goes. Don't you have a goalie in your family?
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad was the goalie at Boston College.
Okay.
And my brother actually was one of the captains of Harvard hockey. So we have 3 of the 4 teams at the Beanpot covered.
And your prediction, who's the Beanpot winner this year?
BU. That's
BU.
it. Yep. BU.
See, everything gets recorded for
There you go.
Yep.
history.
Oh, I know.
About a minute left. Tell us your overall plan, and then both of you give us your advice to some youngsters who are out there who are interested in your business.
Overall plan is to work as hard as I can every single day and do what I think matters to the community and what does matter to the community. And that's
Well, that always works.
make a difference in whatever way I can. And advice, I mean, to put it simply, work hard and be nice to people. It's not much harder than that, but also don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah. Not a bad mantra.
Yeah.
How about you, Katherine?
If I had any piece of advice, it would be to people who think that you're not going to get where you want to get. And I channel it back to an assembly my senior year. We had representatives from BU, BC, and Yale come in to talk to my class about their acceptance rates and your GPA you needed, your SAT scores. And I stayed in that assembly for 10 minutes before I left, because I was like, I'm not going to get into these schools. I can't even apply to these schools. There's no point. And now I'm at BU, and I really have my dream job, and I'm still in school. And nobody who is ringside reported has still been a student in BU before. So just because it might not happen now doesn't mean it won't happen in the future.
Yeah.
That's all I can say to anybody who
Yeah.
might doubt themselves or might not get what they want at first. Keep working toward it, because it actually will happen.
The turnaround can happen tomorrow, because there's always a tomorrow. Great. Okay, I want to thank our guests, Katherine Ellis,
Thank you.
TJ Horgan, 2 pretty soon to be very famous BCAT alumni. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Phil.
having us.
Thank you and good night.